Happy holidays!
Happy holidays!
It's very Christmassy around here.
It is. We're a week away almost, right? Tomorrow will be officially a week away.
No, that's right. I'm still 10 days.
I'm Sheila. Who are you?
This is Walt.
Oh, Walt!
Oh, wait, and there's Landy.
Oh, and then there's Landy, our puppy.
Landy, you're not supposed to be here.
And we are healthy recipes served up on Livliga. And we welcome you to the very last Facebook Live of this year, 2019, and of a decade.
Oh,
because this is the last of the decade.
That's right.
You know what? The next time you see us, we're going to be in a new decade and a new year, and we'll still have Landy, who is our puppy of how many months is she now?
5.5 months.
Woo! So anyway, she's decided to come cook with us today. You never know with us, right? This is our kitchen. This is where we live, and we welcome you into our home to say hello and welcome and share recipes and enjoy a little bit of conversation and share actually the idea of cooking together. Right?
What are we doing today?
So today we're going to do what I call batter breads. We were just talking about the difference between dough and batter.
And what is the difference?
Well, I think you should share because you were the one looking it up on Google.
Well, so both of them really are things that are made with flour and some liquid, and flour or meal. And the main thing is that a dough tends to be thicker and a batter thinner. A dough typically has more flour than moisture, which may not be the case with a batter.
And you tend to knead it.
I was going there.
Oh,
and
you
for
were?
doughs,
sorry.
That's right. You tend to knead, and batters you tend to either stir or whisk together.
And I love batter breads, which are really commonly called quick breads because they are so much quicker, so much easier than, they have a different kind of leavening. They don't use yeast typically, although one of the breads we're going to show tonight is, or actually I've actually already done it, but I'm going to tell you about it, and it's available on our blog.livligahome.com, and it's a beer bread, which we call Hunter's bread because we make everything much more romantic because why not? Why not?
Beer bread maybe romantic.
You have a stew, you serve Hunter's bread, it's in the middle of the winter, you feel cozy and warm and heartfelt.
And you get to say that,
yes, actually I made this afternoon.
See that,
this is the Hunter's bread, and it has golden raisins in it and caraway seeds.
And it always has this really sort of,
funky,
crusty, fun, funky look. It does.
It really is. Well,
really,
that's the character of breads. Each bread looks different. We're going to show you and compare because we're showing you 3 different breads. We're doing the Hunter's bread, which is the beer bread, and of course, when we were talking about batter, the moisture. It's one whole bottle of light beer at room temperature that you put in there, plus some. Egg beaters, and that really provides a major amount of the moisture, and then we're going to do another bread, or have done, which is a wonderful banana date, and dates are such a big thing. I know that's Landy playing,
Landy with a
keeping
toy.
you amused, as we enjoy this joyous season. So she's just a playful pup. What can I say? So anyway, we're gonna the banana date flaxseed bread. It's very sort of healthy. It's a wonderful warm
really good.
color.
It smells so good in the oven.
And we tend dates are something that's very available this time of year. So for us, it's a holiday fruit, and so it's fun to incorporate in something like a bread that you might give to friends or family. Obviously break bread with friends or family if they come over and share a meal with you. So, and all of these breads are also something that we freeze. They're very easy to produce and freeze, so that if you're doing, like I do, a fair amount of baking, and then
Sheila was in a machine this last weekend, a factory, a bread factory. How many? She did. How many?
Oh my God, it was a lot of loaves of bread. But we, instead of going out and buying something, we sort of feel like there's an awful lot of love that goes in those breads, and Cynthia helps us, and Walt obviously was uber in helping, and we just make these batches of bread, and then we freeze them, and then we put them in boxes and mail them. So we were going to talk to you a little bit about that, because it is Of course, you have to be organized and you have to make the time to do this. I can't say you have the time to do this because this time of year you don't have enough time for anything.
You need a sharp scalpel.
But it is something to make time and enjoy, and it's something you enjoy doing together. So I mean, we do it as a family, and because we think about the people we're sending it to, and we all love them and want to be part of that and get those breads ready to send. And so then the third bread, so again, it's the beer bread, hunter's bread, it's the banana date flaxseed bread, and then what we're going to demonstrate from soups to nuts today is the pear poppy seed bread. I mean, everybody has to have a poppy seed bread, right? I mean, it's just...
Well, we certainly grew up with Sheila's famous poppy seed bread that's a lot richer than the pear.
It's got a lot more oil and a lot more sugar in it, right. So this is kind of a healthier version.
But it's really good.
And it's, again, pears are a fruit of the season, right?
Totally.
And so they're so delicious, and they're actually really good for you. For so many things. I mean, obviously they're high in fiber, they're low in calorie. For how sweet they are, it's amazing how, just 100 calories for one pear, right?
Yeah.
And they have a low glycemic index, so they're, again, something that for those that have to be mindful of their sugar levels, this is a great fruit. So to incorporate it and then lessen the amount of actual sugar you're putting in. So this recipe actually uses some honey, uses a little bit of sugar, and the fresh pear, and that's really how you can mix those combinations of sweetness to make this wonderful sweet, or holiday sweet batter bread.
We're using Danjous, it looks like, is that right?
Is it, you guys? Let's look here. What does it say? Yep, Danjous.
Okay.
Danjous.
Which
we love commies too, but they're not quite yet.
I know. I think my favorite fruit of everything are commies pears.
Of everything, or of the types of pears?
Well, I think they're just so special in such a brief period of time, and they are so good.
Yeah,
I think they're my favorite fruit.
They're so good. Yeah. And we love. I don't know if you guys get boxes of fruit this time of year, but that is something. Walt was actually once upon a time he was big into fruits and vegetables, weren't you?
I was.
And so we lucked out, and we got a lot of really good fruits and vegetables, and particularly fruits this time of year. Right. So we want to be able to share this with you because it is just a week before Christmas, and it's a time where we're all still perhaps getting gifts ready. And this is a great alternative to going out and buying something. It takes a little bit of time, but it's probably, from a cost-effectiveness standpoint and an earth-friendly standpoint. I mean, we do batches of bread, and then we use foil tins and wrap them in foil and put a ribbon on, and that's our gift, So it can be very earth-friendly, very mindful, and healthy. Oh, but did I mention how deliciously tasty?
I was going to say, and really tasty.
They really are.
No one ever says, "Oh, not that poppy seed bread again." Right? It's like, "Oh, how great!"
And so they're great for gift giving. They're also great for potlucks. Like, for instance, we're going to have our potluck on Friday with our crew of Livliga, which we're super psyched about. Obviously, we're going to take these breads to share with everybody there, and we're making a stew, and so something like the hunter's bread, we're going to have a chili actually tonight and enjoy the hunter's bread. But the thing about batter breads and these different flavors of breads, I think I've mentioned this with muffins too before, but to me you can be a connoisseur of them and match the type of bread that you're fixing to go with the taste. So like you can have a sweeter bread with a savory kind of a stew or soup or chili. I love, breads with chilies, and so we're going to have the hunter's bread that has a little bit of sweetness in it. It's a sweet and savory kind of a bread in and of itself.
But there's also something very, very hearty about it. That
it's
just
very
makes
hearty, and it goes well within a hearty meal like a chili. So ours is going to be a turkey chili. So so it's fun to kind of mix and match. And so these are 3 breads that can give you ideas about mixing and matching. And again, they're on the blog.livligahome.com. So we hope you'll go check them out and enjoy them. So we've turned on the oven at 350. Did you check? I think it is in fact.
No, I just did 350.
So it is 350 for this bread. Each bread is slightly different. It could be 350, 375. I think the beer bread is at 375. So that's how it gets that nice crusty crust on it. So we're going to go ahead and start with the pear bread, and we are featuring today our Celebrate line because, of course, it's the week before Christmas, and shouldn't we be celebrating?
Right, celebrations in the air.
And it is a time to celebrate, and it's a time to kind of, we're thankful at Thanksgiving. We should be thankful all the time, and I do. I'm one of those that does the thinking about why I'm grateful every night before I go to bed. But this time of year, I think about the gifts I have, and I'm gonna tear up. But I feel like my greatest gifts are my family.
Hi, sweetie. Lady wants to be a part of this, so
and it's been a big year for health for me. And I'm standing here today, and that's like the greatest gift. So
that's wonderful. I'm proud of you.
So, what gifts are you happy to have?
Well, I have actually also started being thankful and every night thinking about 3 very simple things to be thankful for. Yes. But I certainly am thankful for you and my family and just and being where we are.
Yes.
Yes.
Here.
Yes.
But it's been a long road to get to walk today.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's my greatest gift this year. So, besides my family, of course. So anyway, I think, to take a moment, maybe not so tearful. Oh, what the heck?
That's right.
What the heck?
Well, it's all family. That's right.
Right, exactly. It is. It's a wonderful time to think of those gifts that we have in our lives. So we're going to get to this gift of making bread. And the ingredients it's actually a mix of unbleached flour and whole wheat flour. And
what kind of whole wheat flour do you use?
Exactly. So if you've watched this before, I am a big believer in white whole wheat. It's not because of the process that it becomes white. It's actually the type of wheat.
Compared to red durum wheat, it's the white winter wheat.
And the reason why I like it is it's great for baking because it doesn't have the same nutty flavor that the red wheat has. And so if you want that nuttiness, that's great. But for me, for baking, I really prefer the white whole wheat.
And a little more subtle, maybe a little more refined.
Yeah, it is. It is, and it mixes well with the unbleached.
Yeah.
So we have a mix of the unbleached flour, the whole wheat flour, and then we're gonna, kind of do that thing where we do the first 7 ingredients in the bowl.
Which are all dry.
Are you falling asleep?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Hey, let's get some of that Christmas music going again. But, so we're going to measure this out. Walt's going to carve up the pear that we're going to put in. And we actually put the pear in before we put the other moisture so that we kind of mix it up in the flour so they kind of get coated so they're kind of discrete fruits within the bread.
Okay. So you need to go ahead
and we do one big one. It's basically a cup of pear that we're looking for. We're going to peel it, and he's going to cut it up into cubes. And then we're going to mix it in with the kind of the dry mix of the flours and the leavening. So leavening's different for the quick breads because it tends to be the baking soda, the baking powder, and typically a mix of the two. So that's what we're doing here today. So first things first is a cup and a half, and as you'll notice, we have something very handy here, which are our live spoons.
They work great.
Which are just so great for baking. I just can't tell you how. I selfishly created these for myself. I've got to tell you, I had pet peeves about measuring cups, the sizes they were in, how easy they were to use in the kitchen, and the fact that, when you're baking and you're making messes, to be able to put it on the side of a bowl is just so fantastic.
And
so
aren't they on sale today?
Oh my God! You guys, we are having the last sale of the year today too. It's our flash sale, and it's 20% off of all of our dishware, all of the variety of live spoons, and anything you buy gets free shipping. And if you ask for it, we'll also gift wrap for free.
Today is really the last day that you should be able to order and get it prior to Christmas.
So just, if you're watching live and you hear this and you get compelled to kind of finish that Christmas list, we really do have a great deal for you today. And we're so excited to share that with you.
Sheila baked bread on Friday. She did all sorts of more loaves on Saturday and again on Sunday.
With lots of Christmas music and Christmas movies.
I did a lot of cleanup afterwards.
Child can tell you.
I would be amazed at how many live spoons I would find in the sink from one batch of bread. You could have 6, 7, 8 different live spoons.
I just love my live spoons. I'm telling you. They just make life so easy.
You can't get enough. Am I putting this in the little bowl?
I'm putting a cup and a half of the unbleached flour in here. Excuse me?
In the little bowl? Or
yes, please. That's what that's there for.
Okay.
And did you notice how he does he sections them trying to carve into it. So there's no wrong or right way in terms of cutting up your pear. Uh-oh. He's choking. It's that time of year too, you know what I'm saying? So we got a cup and a half. Oh, and look, I can just neatly put them to the side. And now we're gonna have a cup, I believe. Oh no. We're gonna have 3/4 cup of the whole wheat flour. So let's see if we've still got enough of that in here. I may have to open the new one. I love, I think I've mentioned this to you before, but the King Arthur flour, if you're wanting, to kind of add a little specialness to what you're baking, I really recommend that flour. It's really my favorite. We got the gold medal too, which is a great flour for the unbleached. Had the King Arthur been available, it was sold out where we were. And
is that a good size? It's
perfect. You don't even need to be that small, but it's lovely.
So I did sort of a 1/4 by half, but I'll do maybe more than 1/2 by half. Okay.
And so that's what I would recommend for if you're really baking up some batches and wanting to splurge a bit on the flour that you're using. It just really does make it a wonderful, wonderful bread or whatever you're baking. So we're gonna, and as you see, I spoon in. I don't weigh my flour typically because I'm not a chef. True bakers will do that because it really becomes important.
Well, the other thing with
the things I do are pretty flexible,
right.
But you don't want to have it dense, so you don't want to tamp it down. You want it to be loose, so you spoon it out and put it in the cup, and then I use the flat side of a knife to kind of then make it fit into the cup. That's what I do. So this is the 3/4 cup of the white whole wheat flour.
Batter breads are very forgiving.
Thank goodness, right?
And so they really are very easy to make in that sense, because really all you're doing is putting the ingredients in, being general in terms of the quantity of each,
right?
And stirring it up.
And we actually are kind of high up in altitude. We're Colorado folks. And so we've had to tweak some of our recipes to make them, particularly for, things like breads and cakes and things. So sometimes that will react depending on the ingredients, and you just, that's why I like forgiving things, because they tend to work well at this high altitude. So I'm putting a teaspoon and a half, of baking powder. And then the next thing we're doing is a teaspoon of the baking soda. So, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying I love yeast breads, but again, both in terms of kneading, in terms of spending time, kneading, dropping it down, kneading again, having a nice warm space for it to rise, all those things make it a little more complicated.
And time. But there are people, baking bread is a really big deal these days. Yeah, a lot of people are really, Michael Pollan kind of, as one of many, kind of brought it back to the fore in terms of just the whole experience of bread making, because it's kind of cultural, right? There is this sort of whole environment that you're creating in terms of slowing down and creating fresh breads, and they're healthier for you, because additives and things really do affect our metabolism. So that's what's so nice about making your own, and so I hope you guys saw me do it, right? I did do the baking soda. I'm pretty sure I did.
Yes.
And so now we're going to do 3 tablespoons. Oh no, we're going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of salt right here, right now. And I use kosher salt because I think for baking, a dear friend who's just a fantastic chef pointed this out, that its molecular structure actually makes things more tasty. So we got some kosher salt in there, 3 tablespoons of poppy seeds, and we had fun getting lots of poppy seeds this weekend with all the poppy seed bread we were making. Oops, did I say a tablespoon?
3 tablespoons.
3 tablespoons. Okay, so we got 3 going on here. 1, 2, and I have funny stories about poppy seeds. One point when all 3 of the kids were little, I needed to go back to work, and I was working in a financial institution, and they required way back then to have a drug test because they wanted to make sure that you wouldn't be influenced in any way around money. And so it was right before the new year, and it was during the time that I make lots of poppy seed bread and eat lots of poppy seed bread. And someone told me right before I went for the test.
Oh, I hope you haven't.
That it was like, oh, I hope you haven't eaten any of your poppy seed bread, because you know that shows up
You'll
as a
test
drug. If you're doing a drug test,
right?
It probably is folklore, but
Yeah.
I believed it. I was scared to death. I sweat bullets until the test came back, because I thought, oh, this is great. Here I am about to start this job, and I'm gonna flunk the drug test because of poppy seed bread. Turns out I did come back okay.
Yeah,
and
I think
it's folklore.
I do.
Okay.
So is that all the dry?
We got some cardamom coming in here in an 1/8 teaspoon.
Okay.
Cardamom. Ground cardamom, which I don't know if you guys have smelled cardamom much, but oh my god, it is just,
it really is.
it's such a
bright,
luscious smell. And in certain cultures it is a kind of prolific smell of baked goods, and it's really wonderful in this poppy seed bread. So yeah, we're gonna stir that up now. And then in here, I'm going to put after I do that, or after you do that, you're going to put the pear in, right?
Exactly. And with a spoon, I'll let stir.
I think what you want to stir. I would recommend stirring next round.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, so now we're going to put 3 tablespoons of egg substitute. I got to get it out of the refrigerator. And this is great, when we do things like egg substitute, and we do the whole wheat bread. We're upping the ante in terms of kind of healthy ingredients, because we're adding more fiber. Obviously, with the poppy seed, it's very high in fiber. It's tiny, but it's high in fiber and antioxidants, and so is the pear.
But
and
someone once told
this
me,
is great, so that if you're being sensitive, having an egg substitute as opposed to full-blown eggs for cholesterol.
In terms of mixing up the dry ingredients, how important it is really to mix them up well. You're not doing that yet, right?
Yeah, I'm doing it in here, so
because you've got so much flour and just a little bit of the leavening and such, it's really important that it gets interspersed fully everywhere.
Yep.
So that is one of the
leavening
tricks.
is really important.
And all the dry ingredients, actually.
So thanks for all of you joining us. We know it's a busy time of year, so we really appreciate those of you that have taken the time to be with us.
Yes.
Thank you, and hope you're enjoying some of the breaking of bread with us, as I say. So we've got 3 tablespoons of that. Now we're going to do buttermilk, a cup. And I was actually looking up the benefits, and buttermilk is actually easier to digest than other milks, which I thought was interesting. And it also kind of influences your blood pressure and lowers your cholesterol. I mean, obviously you'd have to probably consume a fair amount of it, but I just thought it was interesting. It's a very user-friendly.
And they said it's the lactic acid in buttermilk that actually helps you digest the lactose more easily.
So it's kind of neat that we're using that in this, and that we'll benefit from it. So we're doing a cup of the buttermilk. We did 3 tablespoons of the egg substitute. We're now going to do, thank you. We're now going to do the sugar, and we're just doing 2/3 cup. A lot of these kind of batter sweet breads will have 1.5 cups or 2 cups of sugar in them. So this really is a lot less than you would normally. And again, if you need to come up with a different type of sugar, obviously you can do that.
So 2/3?
I am doing 2/3, and I think I have a 1/3 cup here somewhere. Yes, I do.
Oh, and it's a lift spoon. I didn't know they came in a 1/3 cup.
A 1/3 cup, and I do 2 of those, and that makes a 2/3 cup. Isn't that clever?
That's very clever.
So we're going to do this, if you want to.
Yes, we are.
And then we're going to do a 1/4 cup of honey. That's what's so handy about these new lift spoons, because we now have a 1/4 cup and we have the 1/3 cup, which makes it very handy. And I went for organic honey, but again, you can choose whatever honey you would like to use.
Wonderful, good honeys in color.
We do luck out that way. So, I think we're going to finish this one out.
You may just have your.
I think we just have it.
Okay.
Got it? I was going to do just a tiny bit more. Patience, people, patience. So, okay.
Standing
I think we're good, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll turn that upside down. And then, you know what I forgot to do was melt the butter, guys. So we'll add 2 tablespoons of butter. So we don't have to wait till that melts, but that won't take very long. And we have 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And I forgot to get that out, so I gotta go over here.
That is unlike you.
Oh, I know. So unlike me.
This all looks good.
So, got a teaspoon of this to put in.
So does everybody have all their holiday presents ready? Everything's up to date?
No, I don't, but I'm getting there.
I was talking to everybody.
But seriously, I mean, who can be completely ready at this stage? I don't know. I would be very impressed. I guess there are some people whom I admire greatly who are already very organized and done. It's kind of nice that way you can really enjoy everything.
Right.
But so we've got the liquid that we're gonna then create a well and put this liquid in there, and it's as simple as that. We're gonna once it's sort of just becomes moist, then we're gonna put it in. I'm going to spray.
So I have not done this one recently.
USA pan. I love USA pan.
Am I pouring all of this in the well in the middle?
Mm-hmm.
And then am I with the...
I would not use that. I would use the spoon. Mm-hmm. Just because it'd get all stuck in there. I like spoons for batters. If it's really liquidy, the whisk is great.
Someone asked if
okay, so we're spraying.
Someone asked if you guys are going to be in Las Vegas for your Weight Matters convention.
Yes.
Well, we hope so. Gosh, next year, 2020 is really busy. We're going to be traveling a lot, so we hope to see everyone this next year at all the different conferences that we'll be going to, from spring and summer and fall. I think we have like 4 or 5 conferences this fall that we're going to. So yes, it'd be wonderful to see you. Okay, so we have we're doing that, and then we're going to pour it in here, and then this actually cooks for an hour, and I usually do double batches.
This is going to be a really long show tonight.
Yeah, no, we're going to do magic and show you what this looks like. As if presto, it just came out of the oven.
Yes.
So we did do one. I did one yesterday early, so that we would be able to show you, since it wouldn't be fair to keep you for a whole hour while this was baking, although maybe we could toast to the new year to come together. But we do have one to share. We were going to share all 3 of the breads, so you can see what they look like and how they bake differently, and what they really are kind of fun because of each one has its own personality.
Are we going to confess about this one though? Isn't it the one that I put in the freezer rather than the fridge?
Well, so we have one that's frozen, we have one that's been in the refrigerator, and we have one that's hot out of the oven. So we have all variety available to show.
Just to show how easy it is.
Exactly.
So that's just moist. I haven't really done more than that. So that's all you want, right? Just like that.
Yeah, that's perfect. You don't want to overdo it.
And this has been sprayed, but
has.
not floured.
Right. So it's just been sprayed, and we're using a USA pan because I just love the weight of them, and I love the evenness that how they actually bake. They really are a great pan, and I get no compensation from these guys. I discover
pleasure
things,
when you cook with them.
Pleasure when I bake and cook with them. So
dear friends gave us the first USA pan that we used, and we really have totally converted to them across the board. We just love them.
Mm-hmm. So when I just use aluminum foil, and I use aluminum tins. If I'm baking for home, as you can see, I use baking bread pans. But if I'm doing it for gifts, it's just so much nicer to just go ahead and put it in the tin foil, and then wrap it in foil and put a ribbon on it, and so it's like a gift. And we give to our neighbors as well as to family and friends that live outside of where we live. So we want to share a little bit of the holidays and our love with them. We always get great reaction. Do any of you bake and share? A lot of people do cookies, I know, and I'm all for cookies, but I guess I'm the bread lady. I'm the gal that loves creating the loaf of bread to share. And like the poppy seed bread is, I mean, all of them are great. Toasted in the morning with a little bit of butter or honey, whatever you like, and a cup of coffee. You cannot beat it. So it's great any time of day for any kind of, yes, put it in. And then we'll...
an hour? What am I setting it
Yes, you are setting it for an hour, pretty please. And then it'll come out and it will look like these. So we want to now share, I don't know, we'll take it up and show you our 3 different breads. But this is what I baked yesterday, and this is what the Pear poppy seed bread looks like baked. And
that's beautiful.
It has such a wonderful personality, I think. And it again was in the USA pan. It's a
sort of the most
pan.
refined of any of your breads.
It is.
Right, and it's very sort of a smooth top, and
I'm gonna go share.
It has a nice crackle, but it's really, really lovely.
Isn't that pretty? And
Isn't
then
that
you
great?
can just put it up. Ooh, he was about to drop the bread. Oh well.
There we go.
You were alone in the kitchen.
Celebrate good food backwards.
Julie and Julia has been on recently on TV. I just love that movie.
And then this is the hunter's bread or the beer bread.
Yes.
Which just looks so funny. I mean, I love it, but it's just it does have its own sort of it's sort of volcanic
we can
the way
into it and show you what it looks like. And this is how I wrap. You're in front of the camera.
Oh, yes, I am.
This is how I wrap my bread, and we can show you know how it's so easily unwrapped. And this is what it looks like. And this is the banana date flaxseed bread. So
the poppy seeds.
No, that's the poppy seed pear. And that's the banana
of course, right.
date flaxseed.
Yes. Of course.
Gotta know your breads, honey.
Yes.
I know.
But again, very great.
And
hi, Mary.
To mail them, what I do is freeze them first, and then we do those priority mail boxes. 2 loaves of bread fit in it really nicely.
The flat rate medium box.
Perfect. Yeah. And they go in frozen, so they last a little longer, and they're all nicely, sealed up. And then people can enjoy them. Yeah. And so we mailed all those off yesterday. Mm-hmm. So hi everybody that's getting one. Merry Christmas. So I wanted to just sort of talk about the fun that we've had as a family baking bread over the years. I mean, this is a tradition we've done. People, it's kind of one of those things where people start asking, so you're going to do that poppy seed bread again this year?
That's right.
And so I guess you can either look at it as a wonderful thing or a burden. I was so grateful this past weekend, for those of you who saw me get teary earlier, to be able to stand and bake this bread was like this huge gift to me.
Yes.
I mean,
and you're saying that because you did recently have knee surgery,
yes,
and you were then in a wheelchair for 6 weeks.
Yes,
and
the second time this year.
Exactly. And so it really is a big change to be able to stand up.
Oh my gosh.
And now, she said last week, I'm actually walking. This is so exciting.
So cool, yes. So cool. So really, truly, it has been wonderful. And we want to thank all of you that have come and visited us over the year, and who even watch after we've made these, and then you have the time to watch it when you have time. But it has been such a joy to share with you, to share our kitchen, to share some of our recipes and some of our stories, and we look forward to doing it again next year. I mean, it's hard to believe that 2020 is around the corner, and that it's a new decade. Someone pointed that out to me the other day, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's kind of a big deal. Plus, I think it has a great ring. 2020 doesn't it sound like it's going to be a great year?
It does.
So we're really looking forward to seeing everybody that we can see when we go to these conferences, and we look forward to sharing more Facebook Lives. I think we're going to kind of focus on some of Livliga works with every diet. It's not about a diet, it's about a lifestyle, but it's flexible, it's a guide, and so... But in the new year, we always kind of start out thinking, each of us who are mindful of our weight, mindful of our health.
That we're going to be
the butter! Oh no! Did someone remind us of the butter? Father, we shouldn't have put it in there. You're going to have to get it out real quick.
I can do that.
Whoops! So, fortunately, we're not alone in the kitchen, because sometimes you forget things like this because you're having so much fun talking to people. I can't say it's because of a glass of wine, but oops. This will be, we'll just swirl it in there. You know what I'm saying? So, we did this the other night. What was, we forgot an ingredient. Oh, isn't it a crazy time of year? Yes.
But I was totally responsible for that because I was making a hunter's pie and I totally forgot to put the cornbread on top.
Yes. And we've done that well, actually it's a Appalachian pie. And that's what we call it. And it's
you may have just created.
I know we'll probably have created something new and wonderful. But you know what? When you make a hopefully you can fix it. So we're doing our best by blending in the butter here, so that because it would be funky if you didn't add that butter. So
it may be funky.
It may be funky anyway. Oh well. We'll take the funky bread to the holiday party. No one will ever know the difference except if they watch this, right? Yeah. So, but hopefully it'll be yummy. I'm almost done. Yeah. But phew, thank you. Thanks, heroes over there, our heroines, to have reminded us of that, so that hopefully we didn't spoil this bread. Okay, I think we've blended it in, and I'll try and scrape the sides here. But I'll let you guys know once this bakes whether it worked or not. So you know how flexible this bread really is and why quick breads are...
It may be sort of like the Hawaiian monkey bread where it comes in little pieces.
We'll see.
Okay, I am going to go back in.
All right. Here we go. So we were talking about the breads and baking in 2020, and so we just want to thank everybody, and we're going to enjoy. Should we cut some of these breads and just show people what they look like on the inside? I did get this out.
I think we're going to do it on that right here.
And then we'll do our usual. We got out our Celebrate, and you know, this time of year, I don't know if you've discovered, I thought I'd share this with you, because Cynthia and I love this, and it's kind of a fun, healthy, it's so delicious, coconut milk holiday nog. And so you have a little bit of that and you can warm it up. And we do it in one of these mugs in the microwave.
Is there any left?
And there's a tiny bit left. So, she's been drinking a lot of it on her own.
That somebody taught me a long time ago is when you cut bread, always start in the middle. And then when you cut the edges off, it all fits together. Whereas if you start at an end, then you always have an open edge.
There you go. Well, it does keep it moister because then you can push the two ends together. So I just thought, I love, this is my favorite mug, Sip in Gratitude. And we'll just pour a little of this eggnog in, and of course you can add additional things to it, should you so desire.
To warm it up.
And to warm it up. I think I will warm it up for just a second. And we'll have a little bread and a little nog, and we'll wish you happy holidays, and we'll see you in 2020.
Mom,
yes?
Lisa's watching.
Who?
Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you for joining us. It's so nice. So here's what, I guess, I'll come over here. Walter always does this, but he's cutting bread. So this is what we call the hunter's bread, which is beer bread. That's what it looks like. Isn't it just yummy? And it really is tasty. And it has caraway seeds and golden raisins in it. It's got a lot of personality.
And this is the banana.
And this is the banana date flaxseed. So this has both flaxseed meal in it as well as whole flaxseed. So it's it is definitely healthy, but it's hearty and it's so tasty. It's, you know, instead of a fruitcake, this is a much better, to me personally, addition of something that's chock full of deliciousness and hearty and dense, but really delicious. So this is the banana date. And then Walt's going to show you carving up.
So what we just made, let me have that. Oh,
yes. Okay, perfect.
It's just beautiful, and the pears are interspersed through it.
Right.
And so the carving gives it the color.
Yeah, hopefully you can see the pears, because it really is fun. But they all are so beautiful to look at and tasty to eat. And people are thinking of you, you know, when they cut this up and they eat it for breakfast or whatever. I'm going to make some banana cranberry bread. Right on, Rob. And add a little flaxseed. That's a great idea. So anyway, those are our breads to share. All of the recipes are on our blog, blog.livligahome.com. And I hope you will try them and enjoy them. And meanwhile, can you get our nog out? And we'll try a bit of the date.
Ooh, nice and warm.
Bread. Because I think that'll go nice with the nog.
Excellent.
So, all right, we're wishing you happy holidays and toasting you. And we look forward, we hope you have truly happy holidays and that you're, you get what you want. And we'll see you in the new year.
Excellent. So happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays.
And when are we next going to see everyone?
Oh, we're going to see you a week earlier than usual because we have a big, huge week on January 27th. So we're going to see you on January 21st. We're going to be doing a DASH diet recipe that's a lamb tagine, and we're going to talk to you about our wonderful trip to Morocco. So we hope you'll join us then and share your adventures with us. And we thought that would be a great way to start the new year. So with adventures.
Yeah,
and
sounds like fun.
Good health. So see you then, January 21st.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.